Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing okay. Gonna read through the full article here. There's a link in the description. It's pretty dark. A mother has been charged after surviving a failed murder-suicide that claimed the life of her 4-year-old daughter. This happened at a Florida resort. So we're going to have a look through the full details here. A Florida woman who allegedly poisoned herself and her daughter is now charged with the girl's death after surviving what law enforcement officials believe to be a failed murder-suicide attempt. Jacinda DeCaro, 26 years of age, this lady, this scumbag, is charged with first-degree murder in the death of her 4-year-old daughter, Masayela DeCaro, if my pronunciation is correct. So his 4-year-old Masaya, not sure of the pronunciation. Osceola County inmate records show that DeCaro is being held without bail and scheduled to make her first court appearance on Thursday. She is charged under the premeditated murder statute in Florida, which means that she faces life in prison or the death penalty if convicted. There are no other charges listed on her inmate page. Masayela and her mother were discovered after a concerned family member called in a welfare check while the two stayed at the Star Island Resort and Club on January the 10th. DeCaro had a faint pulse. Her daughter, Masayela, did not. Here's a quote from the sheriff, Marcus Lopez. The night of the murder, the suspect talked about suicide to several different people, told an ex-boyfriend that she didn't want to live. She also FaceTimed another friend the same evening and talked about not wanting to be here. The doors were all locked from the inside when we attempted to make contact with all parties. Tylenol and liquid Benadryl were on the nightstand. The sheriff said that from the start, authorities were treating the case as if it were an attempted murder-suicide. Here's a quote again from the sheriff. Possibly she put some time of medications together, gave it to the baby, and then took them herself. The sheriff revealed that DeCaro had contacted at least 3 people the night before she was found and expressed a desire to take her own life. The sheriff says, we don't have details on it, if it was a mental health crisis or if it was some sort of other things personally in her life. DeCaro had no history of mental health issues, and she allegedly left a note at the scene that read, I'm sorry. After a brief hospitalization, DeCaro is now behind bars after the medical examiner completed the autopsy of Masayela and determined intentional poisoning to be the cause of death. Shortly after the arrest, Sheriff Lopez spoke about a meeting with DeCaro, and he said that DeCaro was not responsive to questions. So at this point in time, the police, the authorities, don't know what was going through her mind or what she felt or, any of the reasons or motivations as to why she did what she did. So there's that article. Thanks for listening. I have called her a scumbag, which is my knee-jerk reaction to anyone that's responsible for purposefully murdering a child. I think that some of my listeners don't really appreciate my thoughts in regards to mental illness, but I do feel, rightly and wrongly, and I welcome your comments even if they're critical, I do feel some level of empathy. I don't understand depression. I've never felt depression myself. I've never felt suicidal myself properly. I guess it's natural for thoughts to fleet past everyone's mind, but not in any significant way at any stage. So I can't really relate from a personal experience point of view, but seemingly this woman did reach out. She did reach out. That is what we're told to do, aren't we? We are told that if you do feel that you're suffering from mental health issues to reach out, to talk, to contact friends and family, and she did do that. She contacted multiple people. I guess as a cry for help, a literal call for help, I would presume. I don't know what the response would be from someone if someone were to call me and say they were suicidal. What could you possibly do? You can spend some time with them. You can try to talk them through the situation. I guess you can call for a police welfare check if that's an option for you to be able to do that. But we're all limited as to what we can do when we're faced with someone that is properly suicidal. So I don't know what my point is. I'm rambling once more. But I do feel a level of empathy for someone in this situation that's seemingly suffering, at least temporarily, at least at that stage, from what I would think is a mental health issue, a mental illness issue. Seemingly she was literally suicidal. Seemingly she was hugely depressed, suffering depression, which would be, I suppose, the significant contributory factors to why she attempted suicide and why she regrettably successfully ended the life of her own daughter. So I'm not trying to give the woman a pass entirely. I wouldn't do that. But if it is shown to be the case that, she was suffering from mental illness, depression or such, then I personally would have some level of empathy for her. Some level of empathy. I've read other cases in which a mother has killed their child, and it seems to me that there really can be a very high level of remorse. There was a recent case there's multiple cases that I go over. One that springs to mind was a woman, I can't remember the finer details, but she felt that, I'm not sure if drugs were involved in this one, they may have been, but I think they were. She was, but either way, she was convinced that SpongeBob SquarePants was telling her to kill her children. There's a guy, I did an article just a few days ago. He was in a period of psychosis, I would say. He was a QAnon obsessive person. I would suggest, I'm not a psychologist, but I would suggest he was suffering from extreme paranoid schizophrenia or such. He felt that his children, a 2-year-old and a 10-month-old girl, if I remember, a 2-month-old boy, a 10-month-old girl, he believed that they had serpent's DNA. He felt that he was doing the right thing when he killed them both with a spear gun. To me, I can only process this kind of thing by believing that these people are suffering mental illness such that it just scrambles their brain. It's they're not a human at that point. They are a human, but they're not like a normal functioning human. They are not themselves. They are not a human. They are infested with a rotten brain at that point, and they act as if they were possessed by evil, possessed by the devil, by a demon, whatever, however you want to view it, but not a normal human. That's the only way I can view it. That people like this woman here, Jacinda DeCaro, my view is that they're suffering a mental illness, or even if that's temporary, they wouldn't have been this way their entire lives. This would have been something which would have occurred perhaps years or months or even weeks prior to the incident, it's not their normal self. It's not how they've been the majority of their lives, and they've been inflicted with this mental illness. We don't ask for illnesses. We don't ask for disease. And that's what is really to blame, in my mind. That's what I think. I'm in no way an expert on these subjects. I've just been reading a lot of these articles and just forming my own opinions. More than happy to receive your opinions, to read about your opinions, and whether or not you feel I'm a complete jackass, I don't mind being told that. I'm happy to be corrected if you've got a valid point to make. And if you can construct it nicely and well. I've had a few comments where I reply back in a bit of a harsh tone because the person just doesn't really want to make too much sense. Anyhow, I've rambled once more, so I'll wrap things up at this point. Thanks for listening. If you do like this video, do like, comment, subscribe. If you're looking for an opportunity to take a bit of a mental health break, allow me to recommend one of the friends of the channel at the end of the day, Bella. Bella does YouTube live streams, not as often as she ought to, tut Bella, but she does, and they're very, very nice, pleasant, very nice, kind community. So if you are looking for somewhere online to hang out, to have a healthy place to hang out, then I do recommend Bella at the end of the day. There's a link. I'll try to post a link right about now if I'm smart enough to do that. But again, thank you for your time.